Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Massive Rostermania update all across the park today, especially from Cloud9 and NRG, a potential team of 5 that NRG are trialing out at the present time, massively different to their previous roster. No FNS, no SOM, where might they potentially go, especially with Cloud9 making wholesale changes to their roster it seems at the present time. Very much intrigued to your perspective in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. The first one, a big story really in the entire esports space, is the CEO of Evil Geniuses stepping down from her position. This was confirmed by an Evil Geniuses announcement, actually a letter from their CEO saying that she's stepping down. Now, you know, it's tricky with Evil Geniuses because despite winning the World Championship in Valorant, they are a shambolic organization outside of Valorant, and even inside Valorant for some time they were. You guys remember the Sentinels tweet at the start of the season that said, do EG even know they made franchising, right? When they weren't really starting any players. Worked out rather well for them. And their Valorant program has done exceptionally well. Their CSGO program, shambles. And as far as I understand, their League of Legends program, there's lots of talk about a player called Danny. I don't know the full lore about this player, but you guys can, you know, look up. I'm sure some of you guys know more about it than I do. But frankly, lots of mismanagement for this organization, and I think this probably makes sense as a time to switch up what's going on there from a leadership perspective, because given their recent success in Valorant, EG actually now have a platform to try and reinvigorate themselves as a brand and, you know, take some steps forward, right, and capitalize on the potential that they have unlocked, especially in the Valorant side, one of the biggest esports in the world, hands down. So, you know, definitely a big update from Evil Geniuses. I think many people are celebrating this. I don't really know enough about her and her history and, you know, some of the other mismanagement of other teams. I have some decent understanding, but I don't have enough to say whether this is going to be good or bad for the organization, but nonetheless, it's an update that I wanted to share. So many updates as well, though. This was a big one and another sad day, really. So Mary from G2, Bahraini player, who's only 17 years of age, who was born in like 2006, is retiring from their team. She came into this roster, just did incredibly well. You know, this G2 team was like the best team in the world, basically, for like game changers. Mary was one of the best players, and now she's going to retire. It just kind of shows where that scene is at, that it's not really, even if you're this good on one of the best teams in the world, it's just not so viable to, you know, to even still continue playing, right? She wants to, I believe her plan is probably to, like, go to and do more studies and stuff like this, right? And instead of committing to Valorant for the immediate future, she's going to go and decide to do that instead. So Sarah is going to step up to the starting team, but yeah, just a bit of an L, really, for the scene overall. It's you know, it's good for Mary doing what she wants to do, but it just doesn't seem great for the health of the scene. The really good player on a great team is deciding to retire because she thinks you know, there's better opportunities in the future ahead than following this route. So another update for you guys there. There's also this from Yuris on MIBR, confirming that he's going to be moving to the MIBR reserve bank, as it says here, but basically on the bench. He's still under contract, restricted free agent. So yeah, lots of rumors as to what's going on right now in the Brazilian region. I think things are changing big time over there, and there's lots of debate and discussion on what's going to happen, especially between MIBR and Furia going into next year. But this is one other change that's going on. There's also this from Nagzet from Crew. He's going to be looking for options outside the team. That's the current understanding from Limbo that was you know, reported yesterday. So yeah, lots going on. We've just got to dive through it already. There's also this one from Carmine Corp confirming, or at least revealing, that Eng is going to be joining them potentially as their head coach for the new season. So yeah, Carmine Corp want to revitalize what was frankly a shambolic season this past year. Scream is gone, you know, Nevera's gone. They've pretty much gutted the vast majority of their roster, and they'll go forward with a new head coach for the next season in Eng as well. So that's pretty good, I think, for all parties on that one. And as we saw, we've got the Carmine Corp thing, we've got the Benkai thing that we discussed yesterday, open to Chinese offers, and also Team Vitality announcing Mulsi has been moved to the bench as well. So, you know, so many things are changing, and we're just got to keep on going. This is another one here from Chronicle, who pretty much said to the Fnatic rumors, because there were rumors that Fnatic weren't, you know, 100% guaranteed. Chronicle might be gone, but Chronicle says straight up, we're not making any changes. We haven't even discussed it. Don't trust anyone. They're lying. But when we do some changes, you'll know about it, he says. So unless he's getting blindsided by potential changes that are happening behind the scenes, it's doubtful they drop Chronicle. Yes, he had a relatively poor Champions by his standards, but still, his success in Valorant so far is undeniable. And this was like the first time he hasn't made a final finals of an international tournament. Also, global esports, I did see this, and there's been some rumours around it, because a few days ago we heard the rumours that SK Rossi was going to be dropped, benched, removed, effectively moved on from the roster. Now, there were some rumours that that's not necessarily the case, and the founder actually of the team says, we will be seeing a different five. So there are roster changes coming, but what those entail are as yet somewhat unknown. Also, Baby J, he's back in business. Been a while since I competed. I'm happy with what I've done at the time. Unrestricted free agent, Sentinel or Controller. Interested to relocate in Americas or EMEA. Time for redemption, he says. So we'll see if anyone picks up Baby J, obviously a controversial character in the scene. Interesting that he's considering moving not just on the Sentinel role, but also looking at the Controller as well. So, yeah, wishing Baby J and all others the best. Now, having gone through all of that, we now find ourselves discussing NRG and also Cloud9 as well. It was confirmed by FNS and Som the other day. They are gone from the NRG roster. They are effectively, well, they've been removed, it seems, but they want to be a team of two somewhere. And FNS does not want to go and join Sentinels with a team that he doesn't want to form around him. He, could potentially go over there. Sentinels might offer him a spot, but fundamentally, he wants to go and join a team that he can build with Som. And that's quite a tall order. I think there is a chance that 100 Thieves do it. Now, 100 Thieves might not have infinite money, right? And of course, money is a factor, especially when, Som streams, gets good money. So, there is a debate there whether 100 Thieves have the resources to commit financially, given what's happened in other esports at the moment. That 100 Thieves are involved with, but yeah, FNS and Som is like a team of two. They're a team of two looking for three, but they're looking for a three-man team that FNS wants to form around him. So he needs a team that comes in and says, look, FNS, come in, do the job, form the team you want, and that's quite a big ask, I think, for FNS. And, it might take some weeks before either he realizes or teams realize that is or is not going to be happening, but that's a duo, but it's no longer an NRG, and that is very clear at the present time. The other question is Zellsis still on Cloud9? They will make many changes, is the current rumor. The actual present rumor is the only man they're going to be keeping is Jake, which is somewhat surprising, but that is what it currently looks like, at least according to Flynn's spreadsheet. So he gives an updated one as of yesterday, and you guys can go into all the details and pause and find it yourself if you want to look at all the regions, but I just had to dive in quickly to what's happening in the Americas here. So just because there's highly green on some of these names doesn't necessarily mean it's guaranteed. For example, 100 Thieves, there just isn't really any rumors, but I highly doubt they're going to stay together. But he has updated, because yesterday this was all green for Cloud9. Today he's put this as kind of in the orange, which translates into unlikely to stay on the roster. So he's got Jake is likely to stay, as is their head coach, Rooney gone, Zeppa gone, Leaf gone, and potentially Zellsis gone as well. So potentially a massive overhaul there at Cloud9. That could be a destination that FNS and Som look to go to potentially, given we think that Valin is now the most likely new IGL for Sentinels, especially with what we'll say about NRG here in a second. So NRG, the only guys left right now are Victor and Crashies. Artis is gone. It's pretty clear that he's going to go back to EMEA. At least that's what he's said most recently. So then we get on to some Scrimbux here from James of F last night. There's a few things going on, but especially this one. NRG plus Marved plus Tex plus John QT minus Artis minus Som minus FNS. They were playing TSM last night. This scrim they're up 12-4. I also saw another screenshot here that a couple of you guys pointed out to me of, we can see Tex, Crashies, Marved all in the same lobby with presumably like a TSM looking roster on the other side with GMD, Nature, Corey, B-Dog or whatever. So that's very interesting. But yeah, so Tex, Crashies, Marved all in the same lobby definitely implies that potentially this team is legit. And that's what people are now saying, that this is the potential 5-man roster, which is kind of crazy just because the Guard, we don't know what's going on over there. It's not yet clear whether they're going to, well, we know what's going on. The Guard aren't going to be in the franchise league. What we don't know is whether, Valorant will change their mind and Riot will change their minds as to allowing a new organization, let's say G2, for example, to come in and acquire those players and bring them on. Now, even if that is the case, doesn't necessarily guarantee those teams are going to stay the same. And Tex clearly is, thinking for either the worst of the Guard team or, looking out for the best possible opportunities he might well have, which could be joining here, which is kind of an interesting roster. And it could have worked out very well. I mean, look, Victor Crashies Marved of the OpTic team formerly, John QT coming off M80 as their IGL, and then rounding out the team. That seems like a pretty promising roster. And that is supposedly a trial roster roster they're currently running with, of course, Marved, and I think it's quite clear that Marved isn't going to be on Sentinels anymore, regardless whether you think that's a good or a bad idea. Him partnering up again with Victor and Crashies probably makes a bit of sense, and I know some of you guys pointed out that there was a video that Sentinels did of all of their players and staff turning up to content day, and Marved was not seen anywhere near any of those videos, so that was one thing. So what do you guys think about this potential roster? This, of course, is a trial for now. If it doesn't go well, they will change their minds. And I think there's definitely a possibility here for a player instead of Tex or a player instead of John QT, depending on what happens and whether the guard actually do get a spot under G2 and then Tex says, you know what, I want to go team with my boys again. That's a possibility. John QT could well be the best IGL option out there, outside of, you know, maybe Valin, but Valin might go to Sentinels. That's kind of the current discussion we're having. But Marved just makes a lot of sense, right? Marved coming back to NRG under Chet with Victor Crashies. Like, this seems like a trio that is, at the moment, quite likely to reform. No FNS, though, and no SOM. Where might they go? That's an entirely different equation in and of itself. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Just one thing to close out with here. Ludwig's come up with the most stacked gaming contest ever. Well, okay, world's greatest gamer. Is it the most stacked? You know, no Shrouds. There's some other names that are missing out, but still, it's going to be pretty cool. And there are some representatives here. Actually, Sentinels, I think, with Asu, Tens, and Zekken have 3 out of 20. But especially from Valorant, Tens, Zekken, both going to this. Should be a good time. Good representatives, of course, from other esports as well. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.